make it happen.
Eh. Oh boy, that looks not good. What is that? Okay, that one's actually not that bad. Okay, new video idea. Hello everyone, Disaster Fire here, and today I'll be doing something a little bit different. I'm honestly kind of surprised that I haven't done a video like this before because, well, if you know me in real life, then you'd know that I'm obsessed with character design, absolutely love it, and I also like this show called RWBY. If you don't know what RWBY is, long story short, it's about 4 girls who go to a school who fight demons. Very basic anime trope, but it's actually pretty interesting. Well, at least at the start. Anyways, if you read the title of the video, saw the thumbnail and the intro, and you still don't know what I'm doing today, long story short, I'm going to be redesigning the outfits for the main 4 girls of Team RWBY. I actually got inspired to do this video after I watched another YouTuber's video, and that YouTuber goes by the name of Twins Inc. Long story short, I watched one of their videos where they basically ranked all of the outfits that the main 4 girls have in the show, and immediately got inspired to do my own designs for a video. Coincidentally, they released another video while I was working on mine, which was basically them actually redesigning Team RWBY, which was pretty interesting. So, nice connection there. Also, I want to mention that I'm not hating on the original artist who created the designs that you saw in the first minute or so of this video. I love them. They're great. An Lee is amazing. Love their art. I just so happen to not really like these designs, so I decided to make my own. But with that being said, this video is already getting long enough as it is, and we haven't even started the drawing yet, so let's get started. Alright, so let's get started with our main character, Ruby Rose. So for Ruby, I felt like she had pretty nice designs overall. Like, there's none that I strictly hate, honestly. So I felt like there was just really no use trying to fix what wasn't broken to begin with. This made her the easiest character to make a redesign for, considering the fact that I had a lot of good elements from almost all of her previous designs to work with for this redesign. For instance, I used her Volume 1 dress as a base. Even though this isn't my absolute favorite design for RWBY, I can't lie, it's really iconic, and if you look at the dress, you don't think, oh, this is what any character from the show would wear. You look at that and you say, that's RWBY's dress. You know? So, yeah. I also included her cross pins, and I did this because I felt like it, number one, went with her overall gothic look that she went for in the first few volumes, and I felt like it also helped show that she still like kind of looks up to her Uncle Crow. I honestly don't know why they got rid of this design element. It was a really good choice, and it just felt right for RWBY, you know? I also used her choker from Volume 7, and her bracers and her bag from Volume 4. A lot of people really don't like the Volume 4 design, but unpopular opinion here, it's actually my favorite. I actually really like it. I know that there's a lot of legitimate reasons as to why people don't like RWBY's Volume 4 design, but I don't care. It's still my favorite one, honestly, and I really do love it. Though I will admit, the way that they model the actual design, it doesn't really help my case in the slightest. So let's just think about the way that it looks in the concept art. Another thing that I added was some frilly but small sleeves, like near her hands, so that it emulates, once again, her Volume 1 dress, with like the big poofy sleeves, but in a way that just felt more practical. Like, I still want to show that she's matured and stuff like that, but let me just make this clear by saying, Rooster Teeth, A character maturing does not mean getting rid of their unique elements of their designs. Looking at you, Volume 7 RWBY. I don't hate the design, it just doesn't feel like RWBY. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, outside of me rambling, something about RWBY's outfits is that her sleeves tend to match her skin tone a little bit too much. I know that this is really more on the 3D modelers end of things and not so much the concept artists, but I still wanted to avoid it, so I wanted to make sure that I gave her like very dark sleeves to contrast with her lighter skin, which once again, Volume 1 design. I don't know why, I don't know why at this point the Volume 1 design is not my absolute favorite, because this has literally just been me ranting for like 3 to 4 minutes about how good the Volume 1 design is. So yeah. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say about my RWBY design. It was very simple, so yeah, I guess it's time to move on to Weiss. So next up, we have our very lovely princess, Weiss. So with Weiss's designs, they used to look really, really cool, and it was like very consistent with how good they looked. And they also did something that apparently Rooster Teeth doesn't know how to do anymore, which is showcase her main color. Like, okay, so I get that like just having white as her like main color can be a little bit boring, but see, here's the thing. That's why in her Volume 1 and 2 designs didn't just put her in white. Like, her main color was still very much clearly white, but they gave her different elements and accents that, you know, made her still stand out as a character. But the thing about Weiss is that for some reason, nowadays, the designers refuse to put her in white at all. Like, it's weird. Like, now for some reason she's rocking some kind of like dark blue, pale blue, a little bit of white, and like red kind of thing, where it's like, these are all the same colors that she had in the first volume, but here's the thing. It looks so much worse. But yeah, I could just ramble about the colors of RWBY for a very long time, but I'm gonna choose not to keep this video short. But long story short, I just wanted to avoid that, so I gave her a white jacket and skirt combo with fur on the sleeves and the skirt. My thought process was to kind of like emulate the sharp edges of her Volume 1 dress, but I chose fur to show that she's like a lot less mean and is kind of like softer in a way towards her teammates. I don't know if that makes sense, but like considering all the time that they've, you know, spent together, one would assume that she would get like a lot nicer to her teammates and connects with them more. So I chose to go with the fur. I also gave her long like purple stockings because I felt like if I left her legs out with all this fur hanging around, something would just look off. So I just slapped those onto her. I also gave her a turtleneck, some gloves, and platform boots. Admittedly, I probably should have been a little bit smarter with the color placements, especially like for instance with the earring. I like made it blue because I wanted to match her eyes. At first it was red, but then I felt like maybe it was a little bit too much red in that area and then nowhere else. So I decided to go with the blue, which kind of fixed the problem a little bit, but it could have been done better, you know? But that's besides the point. Either way, at the very least, once again, her main color is very quite clearly white and not like blue. So yeah. And plus, it's just kind of too late for that now. Like the speed paint's already done, the image is done, the post's already made. I'm not going back and changing that now. But either way, I feel like it did generally okay for redesigning Weiss. But anyways, that's really all I have to say about Weiss. So it's time to move on to Blake. So next up with Blake Belladonna, where do I start with Blake? Like, what can be said about Blake? So let me just start off by saying that I don't really get why a lot of people seem to hate all of Blake's designs. With her newer designs, I can kind of see why a lot of people don't like it. I'll talk about that in a second. But for me personally, I just never got why people don't like her Volume 1 design, because I actually really love it. I think it looks really good, and I feel like it definitely encapsulates both her ninja-inspired design elements and her like French-inspired design elements, because, you know, Beauty and the Beast, French, you guys get it. Her Volume 2 design, I felt like was okay, but I felt like it was better than what we have now, for sure. But yeah. Now let's talk about Volume 4's design, which a lot of people hate on, and it's like, I get why people hate on it. I hate on it a little bit too. But if I'm being honest, her Volume 4 design is actually really still good if we take off the coat. Like, I can't... I can't preface that enough, because here's the thing. A lot of people's criticism about the coat is the fact that, well, it's a big white coat that covers up all of the black on the character who's supposed to represent the color black. Like, I get why that's an issue, and I have the same one. But here's the thing. When I watched Volume 5, and Blake was fighting an ex of hers named Adam, basically, he, like, takes a sword and he, like, tries to cut her, but she dodges out of the way. But here's the thing. He slices that coat. And now she's left with her crop top and her jeans and her boots. And I felt like this was a far better design choice for Blake. Which, honestly, it's like, I don't get why they went with the big white coat, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? But I sound like a broken record at this point, so I'm just going to move on to the next point. Her newest volume design, all I'm going to say is, it looks good in concept art. The actual model itself.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Moving on. So yeah, but for my design, as you can clearly see, I basically just ignored basically all of the elements from her previous designs to then just go on and do my own thing. However, I did keep her very short hair because I felt like it was a pretty good design choice. I also kept the coattails because I felt like it was a really good design choice with the French inspiration, and I felt like it would just give her a better, like, more interesting silhouette than just a ninja outfit, you know? But I did want to still keep some ninja-esque elements. I also gave her a mask at the last minute because I felt like without it, she was kind of just missing that extra something. But yeah, outside of that, there's really not much else to say about Blake, if I'm being honest. So I guess it's time to move on to our very final member of the team, Yang. So with our final member, Yang Xiaolong, I'm just going to start off with what I feel like might be an unpopular opinion. I actually like her Volume 1 and Volume 7 outfits. I feel like they are the best for showing what her personality is supposed to be. I say supposed to be because she's kind of becoming a little bit too edgy and boring for me after a certain point, but we're not here to talk about the writing, we're here to just talk about the designs. Either way, I'll also mention the fact that I think her Volume 7 design is the best of the 4 girls from Volume 7. It's generally pretty warm, even though it still has some design issues, and I mean, it doesn't look bad. So yeah, that's pretty much the criteria for that one. I also really liked her Volume 2 outfit, and I wish that we could have gotten to see it more, but unfortunately, Rooster Teeth had other plans. So yeah. I used to like her Volume 4 outfit because there are still some good elements to it, but overall, it's my least favorite, considering the fact that it felt a little bit too, like, patchwork, if that makes sense. Like, you guys, just because there's a line or a crease or something or whatever in a design, it doesn't mean that it has to be a completely different color. That's all I'm saying. Not to mention the fact that every time she had to fight, she would take off her coattails and, like, her gauntlets, which left her design feeling just too, like, top heavy with, like, how much detail they put on. And it felt like there was just too much on top and too little on the bottom, you know? It just made her feel unbalanced, but, like, in all the wrong ways. So to, like, quote-unquote fix that, I completely got rid of the coattails and gave her gray biker shorts and a little purple fabric that's hanging off of the side of her belt, so that I could both call back to Volume 2 and also just have something on her that, like, flows that she doesn't have to take off every time that she fights. So yeah. I also decided to give her long black boots and an orange bandana, while her arm and gauntlet stayed pretty much the same. I also gave her an orange glove just to throw in a bit of more orange in there. Another thing to mention is that I actually gave her a ponytail for this design because I felt like it just both feels more practical and it would also just be a nice change of pace. I also admittedly just wanted to see Yang's Volume 4 ponytail back because I loved it and I feel like we were robbed of, like, that look. Like, ugh. Look, I'm allowed to have my own biases in this, okay? These are my redesigns. But anyways, I'm pretty proud of how I handled Yang's design, you know, considering the fact that making a yellow character, it it can kind of be a bit much if you don't do it right, especially considering the fact that she has that long blonde hair. It Yeah, so I just kind of did my best, and I just went with a darker color scheme with the yellows being a bright pop of something, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much it for Yang as well. So I guess it's time to move on to the final piece. Well, this was definitely a fun experience. I'm still honestly surprised that I have never done a video like this, considering how much I love redesigning characters. Mostly my own, but still. I honestly might do more videos like this in the future, especially considering the fact that I have a couple of RWBY OCs from middle school that could use some serious overhauls. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and slap that little gray bell so you get all the new notifications. That's all for today, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!